Guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I thought we would do a Jeep walk around of basically all the things that me and my boyfriend have done throughout the past 2 years in order to make it fully off-road capable, at least for the trails that we have been doing. So if you guys are interested, let's get started. My ultimate goal of this Jeep was to make a overlander, but also rock crawl at the same time. I mean, people can have their own opinions about that, but this is ultimately what I was looking for. And I have not re-geared. I haven't done a few upgrades that are probably needed, but I am working from the ground up basically. And I have a lot of wish lists down the road, but this is where I've gotten so far. So the basically bulk of the Jeep, I have a TerraFlex CT3 lift kit with the Falcon 3.3 piggyback shocks, and I really like those. They're easily adjustable. They're pretty easy to move from soft to hard to medium. Shocks, I ended up putting on a skid plate on the bottom because they were getting really beat up, and I'll show a picture before. They were just getting nailed on rocks, so the skid plates definitely help, but it's been really easy to go back in there and adjust. There's pros and cons, and I can do another video if you're interested on the pros and cons of having adjustable shocks, but it's really been proven to pay off, specifically when you're going on off-camber roads versus bumpy roads. So I see value in it, but that's a personal preference. I do have 37-inch tires on Cooper SGT Discovers with the XD series wheels. They're in whole shot satin black, and it's really been a good pair, but I do have rubbing, so I will probably need wheel spacers down the road. Ended up doing the lift kit myself with my boyfriend, and it wasn't too hard actually. I also added the Outback suspension shocks in the rear, not shocks but springs, to support the tent. There was one issue with my lift kit. I was having rubbing with the sway bar links, so I did have to get a rock crawler rear track bar, and that basically solved all of my issues, and I did not get that included in my lift kit. So I added the JCR fender liners, spray painted them red, and added the KC Highlights rock lights, and overall it's been really good for lighting and just for the aesthetics. Up in the front, because I ended up hitting a tree like right after I bought the Jeep, I replaced the front bumper immediately. I just did something cheap from Amazon. It's a steel bumper, but I haven't had any rusting, and overall I feel like it's looked pretty well. Down the road I do want to end up having a stubby bumper, just not at this time. I have 3 LED lights of 4 essentially, and those all came from Amazon. To finish off the bumper, I added a 13-inch LED bar, and then I ran the wiring underneath the grill into my accessory panel. On the bumper, I added a Smittybilt 9,500 pound winch, and that has come in handy for recovering others, but I've also had to self-recover myself one time when I was stuck in mud. For the fog lights and headlights, I did the JW speakers, and then I protected them with, I think it's a barricade, and I believe that came from 4Wheel Parts, but I'll link everything in the description. I actually like the aggressive look of them. Some people might not like it. It does block the light a little bit, but for the most part, I feel like it just makes the exact look that I'm looking for. And then I did do that to the side lights as well, and then I have actually removed the side marker. I used to have it on there, but it fell off while off-roading, and so it's just like, don't really need it, so it is what it is. These red D-rings, I got them at 4Wheel Parts. They were like 30 bucks a piece, then a little protector on it. So I got 4 of those, 2 on the front and then 2 on the back. I added the license plate holder for a place to hold the license plate since I replaced the front bumper. That might change eventually once I switch this out to maybe a factor 55. These fender flares are the Smittybilt, like pretty basic fender flares. I bought them on Amazon and they were pretty cheap. Any decals that you see, most of them came from Etsy. There's a few websites that do really good decals, and I just think it makes your Jeep unique. For this, I got the bolt lock with the high lift jack and the high lift jack mount. I also got this at 4 Wheel Parts. This kind of makes a noise, but it hasn't really rusted, and I've gotten used to it. When you're in the driver's seat, you don't really see it because it's in the corner, so I like the spot. I know there's other mounting options, but I felt like this one kind of gives it a cool look at the same time. Haven't needed to use it, but it's one of those things that it's nice just to have for recovery if you do need it. I did add the circle zoom in mirrors. I don't know what they're called, but they've come in handy because this Jeep has so many blind spots. This is a Smittybilt. I don't know the exact wordage. The link will be in the bottom, but essentially you put your foot here and then it allows you to reach up to the tent to unstrap anything. So this has been really helpful. I use this all the time camping. It was like about 30 bucks a piece maybe. And then this is a bottle opener if you do drink. I actually had covers to make these black, these hinges black, but I took them off for this step. But I left these on because I do get a lot of rocks hitting up and it chips away my paint. So I kind of like the look and it's protective. And these are kind of worn out, but I did get handle inserts from Amazon and I spray painted them with a clear coat so they didn't fade. But this side of my Jeep always sits in the sun, but if you see on the other side, they're bright red. On this side, I have more stickers that I either got on Amazon or on Etsy, or TerraFlex gave me them with the lift. I have the Ronin Factory antenna. These are the badges for completing the trails. You just submit online that you've done them and they send you a badge, which is great. One of the first modifications I did was this Apollo Intech switch pod. Basically any lighting I run through here, and then I have the ARB single output air compressor, and that hasn't been too bad airing up all 4 tires, but it does take about 30 minutes, and I know there's faster options, but this was in the budget. So no complaints, we're just a little bit patient when we air up. And one thing I forgot to mention with that ARB air compressor, there is an Evo plate to hold that air compressor down. And then for this section, it's a dual battery system. I felt like this would give me peace of mind out on the trails if I'm camping overnight. I know that my car will always start. So this is the Genesis Off-Road Dual Battery Kit. I think it's 200 amps, and I run some of the accessories like the winch directly on here. I did add a gas tank cover because the stock Jeep doesn't give you one, so I felt like that was just an easy thing to make a more aesthetically pleasing look of the Jeep. For taillights, I went with JW Speaker again. I just wanted something that had quality to it that wouldn't end up going out later down the road, which I hear a lot of Amazon ones do. So JW Speaker taillights, I love them. I have nothing bad to say about them. Good mod. I do have the Trasharoo. This comes in handy when camping, and I really love it. It's just a good condensed place to put all the trash. I do have a CB antenna. The red tip fell off, but this has been really nice. And it doesn't really bang too much off-roading. And I did add the CB mount. This came from Amazon, and these can get really expensive. So I just did a generic one that was really inexpensive, so that was pretty straightforward. I do have a backup camera, so we mounted that here. So this is the Rhino-Rack Pioneer platform, and I also got the backbone system so that it supports the tent. So you can see online what that rates for standing and moving weight, but it's done really well with the Tempui Autona 3 tent. So to hold the 37-inch tires, I ended up going with the XRC Smittybilt bumper with the tailgate. The only downside is this portion ended up eating into this, but other than that, it's worked out really well for what I needed it to. And I got generic kind of Max Tracks from Amazon. They're not the real Max Tracks, but they were cheaper, about half the price, and they've come in handy a lot of times recovering other people or just helping us on off-camber situations. So for the rear wheel wells, I ended up just ripping out the factory and then spray painting them with a spray paint from Walmart, and it's held up pretty well. The first spray paint I tried didn't, and I had to chip it all off, and then I put on a tougher one, and it works really well. So if you're interested, I can give you guys the name for that. That wraps up the outside, so now I'll show you the inside. Sorry, this is really dusty because we have been on a bunch of camping trips and have not cleaned, and it's just like super unorganized. I usually have 3 tubs here, and they're from Costco. They were pretty inexpensive. This was probably the cheapest solution that we could get right now for the lowest effort. I just have kitchen supplies in here, and then usually I keep the air hose pump inside here with propane tanks. We also have a stove that we add up here, and food we keep in the third one. And then I also have the Rotopacks for the water, and I think I want a second one of these, and I also need some gas cans because we do get close to running out of gas. This is the ARB fridge / freezer. I haven't used the freezer yet, but I do use the fridge pretty much every week, especially when we go camping. I love this, and then I have the app on the phone where I can make sure that the fridge is at the right temperature, and it stays pretty cool for all throughout the night. I have a dual battery, which this runs off of, so I have no issues starting up my car the next day after camping. I have a fire extinguisher with the bar tacked fire extinguisher holder. This piece ended up coming from Amazon, and it was one of the cheaper ones, but I've had no complaints, and I really like the sleek look of it. We end up eating from here or cooking on here, even can set a laptop on here, so it's been nice. And then I just put all my decals on there. And then on Amazon they have this light that you can stick up here. I'm pretty sure it's held on by 3M tape, and it gets pretty nice at night. We can see the area where we need to cook if we arrive to the camp spot late. So that's been one of the best mods in the back. I also installed a dual cigarette lighter to charge the fridge and the light. And I keep an extra tent in here. I have some small chairs and 2 tables, and then shoe bags for the tent. This usually gets stood up straight, and then I have a water jug here in addition to the Rotopacks. I have 2 storage bags on the sides, which I hold electronics in there, books in there for off-roading, blankets, and stakes for the tent as well. So this has been helpful, just keeping things organized. And then I also have a blanket for putting on the ground if I need to. This is the backbone system that goes with the roof rack, which I ended up installing myself with my boyfriend. It's basically just drilling holes, so if you get your measurements right, it's not too bad. The roof rack was kind of a pain to put together and match with all the drill holes, but we got it together. For the interior, I've done a few different things, a lot of projects. I did spray paint all of these red with a spray paint from Walmart, and it's held up pretty well except for when things rub against it, but I'm going to touch those up. I have the Vector off-road bar with the 67 mounts for the phone and the 67 mount for the GoPro, and then I have the RAM mount for the iPad. And then we also have a Garmin up here just because we like to really know where we're going. And then also this came off of eBay, I believe, and that connects to my rear camera, and it also has the front camera on the back of it. So that's nice because there's a lot of blind spots in this Jeep. And this is the Apollo Intech. So right now I have the rock lights attached to it, the windshield, the bumper light bar, and I don't have the winch to it but I do have the air compressor to it. And then I do want to get side lights or rear lights on the roof rack. I have the Alien sunshade in the front and the rear. I really like this for when we take the hardtops off, but I am looking for a solution where I don't need the Freedom panels and I can pull something back but doesn't interfere with my Rhino rack. A speaker up here that connects to my CB antenna, which is down here. And then also have some more cigarette lighters and USB chargers that connect into here. So it's kind of messy, but that is one project that I want to get to and maybe install it in the glove box instead. I did add these handles. They did not come with my Jeep, and that's been nice, but I do want to add handles up here. And then I added, which is like super dirty, but a nice red cover for in here. My love of stickers, just because it gives the Jeep personality, I added a sticker here. You can infer that how you will. So thanks for watching. I think this was all the modifications I've done to my Jeep. If you have any suggestions, I know I need a few things like rock sliders, drive shaft, and re-gearing. If you have any ideas, send them my way. I'm definitely interested. If you liked anything and want to know more, I'll definitely try to give you more information if you need it, but everything will be down in the description. And again, thanks for watching. I'm sure we'll have more videos in the future, especially with the Tempui tent if you want to see that. So thanks.